Assuming that it even shows me. It's not even showing me my stream. Wow. I get my own link for my own stream. That is bizarre. You'd think I'd work this stuff out by now. There we go. Copy link. Hey. I'm streaming again on. Yeah, can't even spell streaming. Okay, just spammed my Discord. Hey, Rat Madness. And now I'm going to just quickly post to Twitter. Live streaming on my second channel. Hacking MicroPython for better text support. Support. Hey Aaron. Hey Cable Tie. You're in the dentist. Oh, really? Make a coding, chat, fun. Just 1 second. Hey Ben. Hey Sven. Just almost ready. Almost there. Just need to post this tweet. Go Twitter. Do it. Okay. By the way, look, I fixed breathing, I think. Should post this on Adafruit's Discord. No, this is going to be really hacky. No one's going to learn anything from this other than how bad I am at C++ programming. But how you doing, Station 240? Okay, so I've got that open. I need to just get all my windows ready. Okay, so, cool. So what am I doing? Well, hang on, last 3 streams I seem to get major buffering issues, Sion, but only on your streams. Yeah, see, that's, I don't know, people tell me that all the time, but I'm just using OBS, I'm just recording it. I'm pretty sure I'm recording at 30 frames a second. Stream, hang on. It should be, yeah, 30 FPS. Might be a regional thing. It's definitely possible. Stream settings. Unless something happened to my stream settings, I can't even view them right now. But unless it pushed me back to 60 for some reason. Turned up an hour early for the dentist. Wow, how overly excited for the dentist are you? Yeah, okay, that sucks. Better than being late though. I don't know, mate. Just refresh the browser. Does it fix it? So, okay, what am I doing today? Well, I don't have a lot of time this morning. I'm sorry about the 3D printer. Still got an hour and 36 minutes to go, but I didn't want to not stream this because I'm going to hack away now anyway. I thought some of you might find it interesting. So, my Reflow Master Pro. It sounds like the Outer Limits background. Sorry. I wish I could, maybe if I can turn my microphone. This might make me a bit software. What did I say? Software. This might make me a bit softer, but it's not facing my printer. Maybe if I move it this way. I don't know how that's going to sound for me, but maybe my printer will be less. Let me know. But it only happens on my streams. Well, stop watching my streams. I just want to check if I have actually fixed my logo. It might sound cool for you. It sounds annoying for me, let me tell you. Just want to see if the breathing's fixed. It should be able to switch color now. But it's not. I think it thinks it's not connected. I'm gonna do the Alexa thing. Hold on a moment, folks. Okay, maybe I turned it on too early and it didn't detect that the stream was going. So, it's logging into Wi-Fi. We'll check now, see if it's working. Right, okay, I'm getting distracted by the logo. I've been working on my Reflow Master Pro forever, and it's all written in MicroPython because I'm crazy. And so one of the things that's been on my radar that's been annoying me, there we go, it's gone pink now. You've got that message, but it's not breathing. Hey, Andy Mouse. I gotta quickly just show you this. This is funny. I hope Michael doesn't mind. Let me just put this over here. Just quickly show you. So Michael just sent this. He's gonna join when his little hardware interrupt has been handled. It's a little hardware interrupt. That's really funny. Okay, back to here. Away from the code. Looks like I haven't fixed the logo. Oh no, I have. It's breathing. It is breathing. So now we can go yellow, and it should change color and keep breathing. So I did fix it. I fixed it about 10 minutes after my stream on Wednesday. There we go. Breathe. Yes, working. Woohoo! I haven't got a mention on Stephen Horse channel. Yes, I know it did. I know, and I was out of stock. I sold my last one the night before that the video came out. A non-maskable interrupt. Yeah. A non-interruptible interrupt. So I had to rush out and build a whole bunch more, which I did. And I've only got 3 left again. So, yeah, anyway. So many distractions. Okay, back to this. Let me stay focused. So, the only issue with MicroPython, doing this in MicroPython, is that there's no hardware drivers for screens. Not like there is, like with Arduino, with C or IDF, like you're talking at the lowest level. Like your driver is in C, and so it's fast. In MicroPython, it's not really easy to do that because there's no way MicroPython could ship with a driver for every screen type, right? And there are so many screen types now. So generally what happens is there's 2 parts. You've got what's called FrameBuff, which is a basic drawing and text thing that allows you to build frame buffer information of visuals. And then you on the MicroPython side, you blit that just directly to the screen. You do that via MicroPython, but it's very, very fast because all you're doing is blitting a byte array that lives in MicroPython and C. Well, it's like, so there's no data transfer back and forwards. And so you're taking that data and you're blitting it. And it's pretty quick. The downside is there's not a lot of functionality inside FrameBuff. And it's something I've been talking to Matt and Damien about for a very long time. And it's just kind of low priority, right? There are plenty of people already using it as it is, and for a lot of things it's fine, but for me it's not. It was missing some key elements. So what I've done with my Reflow Master is I've written a complete driver. Hey Johnny, I've written basically complete driver and functionality in MicroPython to do all the things that I needed to do. And of course it's fairly slow. Slower than what it would be in C++. Interestingly, hello Boar. Interestingly, it's still much faster than the display is on my normal Reflow Master that's running off a SAMD in C++ because the ESP32 is dramatically faster. The SPI bus can be driven much faster. And so it's still faster, but it's always irked me about how slow it is. And so I started solving that yesterday finally. But before that, I was working on how I could make it faster and faster and faster in MicroPython, and I did. I got it faster and faster. I did all these crazy techniques where I was caching fonts as byte arrays so I could just split them to the frame buffer. And then, because I do multi-scaled font, I don't use different size fonts. I've just got one font, and it's a 6x8 pixel font. And if I want different size text on the screen, I scale it. And so you can only scale it by pixel doubling, tripling, quadrupling, right? So it's not, you don't get like nice edges because it's a pixel font. You get chunky edges, but it's very sharp. Actually, let me just switch to here. I'm leaving the light off just so it's nice and clear, right? So as you can see, I've got different size fonts here. There's a little tiny font there that's written dull, and I've got all this text on the side and all these fonts. So that font up there, that's actually double. That's a scale of 2. But it's very sharp. It's nice and easy to read. I don't really like seeing normal non-pixel based fonts that are scaled on like a TFT. They just don't look very good, right? You can't do an arbitrary point scale with the pixel density and make it look nice. You can on a computer screen. You can't really do it on these little screens, right? This code is currently not running, so it's stopped on my machine, so it just stopped on that screen. As you can see, that's also a reflow that I ran yesterday, just one of my test reflows. And so, well, actually, what I should do is just start this up, and you'll get to see. I'm rebooting it now. You'll get to see all different font sizes and everything else. You'll get to see how fast it is, right? So different size. There's 3 different size fonts there. Right, so there's the interface. I can go into the settings screen. It's pretty fast, right? Like, it's not terrible. It's definitely usable, right? If I go to use TC, oops, I can change that. No, yes. It's very usable, right? I can go to switch paste. I've even got some scrolling in, and the scrolling's not too bad, right? But to do that, I've had to do some crazy things, right? I've had to build a system that because I need to do all the fonts and all of the text building in MicroPython. Hey, Keen! Yay! Because I have to do it all in MicroPython, it's very slow. Like, it's basically when you're drawing a font to the screen, you got to go get the font data, which is encoded as columns. So you go through every X column, and then you shift values through the Y to get all the Y, and you draw them, and you draw it in slices. Every character for every string. That's how font rendering works. And on MicroPython, it's got to do that and then draw a pixel to the screen every single time, which is very slow. So what I do is, my first step was that I do all of that, and it goes into a little byte array, and then I can blit that byte array on. So there's an A, I can blit it on rather than rebuild the A every time. But to do that, I have to cache the A the first time. And then the problem is, well, okay, I've got an A in 4 different sizes, let's say, like scale 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I need 4 different versions of that byte array, because you can't scale a byte array. So suddenly I've got 4 different versions of A cached. Now, it's great. The first time is slower to build, but once it's cached, I just find it in a dictionary, and then I can blit it. So it's faster. But I've got multicolor, and multicolor means I need to store, because the color data is stored inside the byte array. So I need to then say, well, hang on, I've got a yellow A, I've got a white A, and I've got a green A, and a blue A, and that's just in one scale. So if I got 4 colors at 4 sizes, I've got 16 different cached characters. And that takes up memory, right? So then what I started doing was, to get it even faster, is I started caching like actual strings. So like the string like select that was on the screen. Well, I shouldn't have to build the word select every time from 5. No, pink A. What? I don't know what a pink A means. So I shouldn't have to build that from 5 characters every time. I use the word select in white lots of times, so I cache the word as a byte array. So whenever it says, hey, do I have this string? Yes, I do. Put it in. The problem now is, because I'm caching so much stuff, that the dictionary lookup is becoming more of a penalty than what it was saving at the start, right? The more things I add, the more... So like, if I just go back to here for a second, to give you an example, not that one, this one, if I go back, if I actually stop this, actually I don't want to do this right now because it'll break all my settings. Anyway, I've got screens full of text. So like the very first time you start this up, it recognizes that you've not profiled your oven. And so it takes you through a calibration process. And there are screens of text to cycle through to read. And it's just getting crazy with how much text there is and how, like it's starting to slow down again. It's still fast, but the downside is it's now also taking up a lot of memory. And every time I update the screen and draw stuff, I'm creating stuff on the heap, and then the garbage collector has to clean it up. And it's getting a bit crazy, right? So I wanted to solve this. So yesterday, the things that are missing in FrameBuff. So FrameBuff, firstly, there's only one font, and it's not a font I like. The second thing is that only recently could you actually do anything other than white text. So in the past, you want to draw something on the screen, white text only. You can now actually do text in color, but you can't scale it, and it's got no other functionality, like other than saying, I want you to draw this text at this pixel coordinate, and it draws left to right. That's it. There's no wrapping, there's no centering or alignment or anything else, and you also can't do multicolored text in one line. So you can't, like on my setting screen, I've got, the setting name and then the value. They're two different colors. That's one print statement in my code, right? Because I can't do it as two different things because I don't know where the justification is for it, right? So there's a lot of stuff I added in my code, which is great. I spent months and months and months on it, but I want it faster now. And the only way to get it faster is to be in C and C++. And so yesterday I did two things. I added the ability to do scalable fonts inside FrameBuff, and I also overwrote their font, just for now, for me, with the font I wanted. And so I want to show you what I've got. If I can click in the right window. Okay. Let me just switch screens. So if I, what just happened there? MPR. Okay, so if I import just some test code, so this is running through FrameBuff now. You've got the original scaled font at the top, and then you've got 5 different scales, right? Now that just drew that in 106 milliseconds. If I, where's my FrameBuff code? So as you can see, I'm doing a text write to FrameBuff. Can everyone see the font? Let me just make it bigger. Let me get rid of that. Okay. So I'm just going through a range, and I'm doing it 5 times, right? Now, if I do the same thing again, I'll grab this whole bit, and I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to use my own drawing routine, right? Which is display.print. Okay, it's going to print the scale, and I also need to pass it. I need to pass it scale first. The X and the Y. X and the Y scale. I need to do the scale first. I. Okay, so if I get out of that, go back in, I import it again. You'll see it go twice. Actually, what I'll do, I'll make the second one green so you know that it's run. Import FB. So white then blue. No. What did I just do? Oh, NPR. I gotta copy it over. Okay. NPR. Copy FB. Sorry, I didn't copy it over. Import FB. And you should see it print 1 and 2. It's gone blue and green. Now look at the difference. Good luck, cable tie. The frame buff version took 102 milliseconds. My version took 925 milliseconds. Now, when you saw it update the screen, it was very fast. But what you didn't see was the slight delay before it blitted it. So blitting it is great, but it took, let's say, 700 milliseconds just to build the frame by me having to process that text myself in MicroPython. That's the difference in speed, right? That is a huge difference. So I want to now move all of my code, all of my font rendering over to MicroPython and expand frame buff. The problem with that is I've got a lot of stuff I've built, a lot of functionality I've built. I've got the ability to do multi-line text with multicolored text with left alignment, right alignment, centered, with padding. I've got all this different functionality that I use throughout all of my Reflow Master, and none of it, like I want it all, eventually all in frame buff. But there's no way if I add it all, it's going to get accepted as a PR into the mainline frame buff, because I'm going to add stacks of overhead, extra memory requirements in builds and stuff because of all the extra functions I'm adding. But for Reflow Master, this is for me. Like I'm building custom firmware, so that doesn't matter. I don't have to commit that. But if I can get some really nice font rendering stuff, then maybe, you know, Damien will work with me on how to make better stuff, right? Like how to take my code and maybe implement it in a leaner or better way. Because my C and C++ is not great. So, as I said, yesterday it started with, so here's frame buff, the code, and basically all I added yesterday, there were two things. The first one is I made a new font. I grabbed the, I hate how it's graying that out. Anyway, I got rid of their font and I've created a new one based on the GLCD font. Those are cumulative times. Did you set the start time again? Yes, I set the start time again. Well, I should have. Oh, wrong screen. Start time. You're right. I didn't set it again. My bad. But even still, you'll see. Right. You'll see. It'll be like 400 or 500 milliseconds. Thank you for picking that up. 102.819 that time. Okay, and that was with me resetting it in the middle. Okay, every time I run it, it's going to be different because of the overhead in MicroPython. Right? So that was even worse. So there you go. Either way, whatever it is, it's at least four or five times at best faster in frame buff than it is. So let's go back to here. So I added my own font because I didn't like the other one. And then, I wonder, is there a way in Visual Studio Code to turn off the highlighting or the non-highlighting when something's compiled out? Appearance. Because this shouldn't be compiled out, but it just doesn't understand. See, it's made it grey. It's a bit hard to read. Okay, I'm going to have to live with it for the moment. So I go down to frame buff text, Okay, I added an extra argument, right? So there was 4 to 5 arguments. Now there's 4 to 6, and this is a problem because the last argument was an argument that you didn't have to pass. There was a default. Both of mine, like mine as well, I want the same thing, but there's no easy way to do that now. For the moment, I've just hard-coded it that you must put a scale if you put a color. And so I'm grabbing the scale set to 1, but if there's an argument there, I'm grabbing it. Catch you later, Sven. Thanks for joining, as long as you did. I appreciate it. So there's a scale argument I pass, and then I have to increase the x when I'm moving across by the scale. I have to increase the y when I'm moving across by the scale instead of by 1. And then inside the code, if the scale was 1, it was just doing a set pixel. But if the scale is greater than 1, then I now have to do an x and a y loop for the scale factor to draw the pixels. Now I could do this with a rectangle fill, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to keep using set pixel because Damien uses set pixel everywhere for all his drawing, and I'm trying to not break convention with him with the stuff I'm implementing, right? So that's how I'm doing the scale. It's pretty simple, exactly the same way I do it in my own code, but as you can see, it's dramatically faster. But this font rendering stuff, this is the only method for rendering text, and it can't do anything other than left to right. It doesn't do anything about wrapping. Right now, if your text goes further than the screen, it just clamps it, which is not great. I can't do any padding or anything else. So I don't really want to try to hack this frame buff text to do more because it's going to break everyone else's code if there ever is a PR that gets accepted. But I have to be careful that I don't, regarding the highlighting, it's probably some includes not being set. Yeah, it is that. How do I pronounce Jope? Don't know if I got that right. Maybe I'll do JB. Apologise for screwing your name. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's a define up here. Just Visual Studio Code's not smart enough to understand that just because, right? I mean, I could comment it out, top and bottom, but if you can't read this stuff, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. So the problem with me just adding extra methods is that it makes the binary bigger. So the more I add, the bigger the binary. The bigger the binary, the more of a problem on memory-constrained devices or flash-constrained devices for MicroPython. So I don't want to go into too much effort expanding MicroPython. Well, I could either just hack it myself for me and not care, do it my way, or I could try to do it in a way that might be considered useful inside a PR, but then I have to be very careful how I do it. But for now, I just need some functionality. So what I'm going to do... Now, I've never worked with MicroPython before on the C side, talking to both. So this is going to be an absolute copy and paste, don't know what I'm doing, break everything. Because honestly, I've never done it before. So the first thing I want to do is... I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. Is I want to make a new function, and I'm going to call it frame buff text aligned. So the method name will be text aligned. Hey Michael, is your hardware interrupt asleep? Or at least full and playing nicely now? So text aligned, which means I need to also match the same thing down here. Frame buff text aligned. I believe this is what I need to do. I've never done this before. And this needs to be text aligned. So this is saying that there's an object of data coming in or data to be passed. I believe 4 to 6. We'll have to adjust these. And this is the, aligned. And this is the method that it's for, which is this one up here. So if I just save this and I build this, I should be able to, sleeping, yay, I should be able to flash the firmware, const fun object var between. Okay. See, I don't even know what this define const. As I said, I've never done this before. Frame buff blit object. Right, I must need to declare this somewhere. So these are all macros that get used to. Here we go. I need to put it in the list. Talk about learning the hard way. If only Matt Trentini was here. I should ping him. I'll ping him with the stream. I told him I was going to stream. Already breaking everything. There we go. Okay. So, I think I just need to put aligned obj there. I think. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, looks like it's building now. So I should be able to flash this and then just change the function name in my test code to be my aligned one, and it should work the same way as it did before. And if it does, that means I've created a function, my first bridging function in C for MicroPython. How crazy is that? Okay. Let's flash it. No error. Hey, Agim. Right, it might not like being flashed because I didn't close my session to it. Yeah, I didn't close my connection. Try that again. Might have got it into a state now. It's in a meeting. You think I changed the name to text aligned, text buff aligned? No. Change what name to text aligned? Oh. When you copy that last, copy last, check the first part of the definition. Right, the only thing here, oh, right, here I'll have to, right, you mean the Q string. Yeah, thank you. Said trial and error. There's going to be more error than anything else right now. Matt's in a meeting, he'll be there soon. I'll have it all finished by then. Yeah, it will. It'll overwrite the text one. Probably. Okay. Write it. Okay, I'm going to go back to here and get rid of... I know there's a lot of stuff in here. And so my new one is text aligned. I'm going to make this green just to make sure it worked. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do is before I forget, I'm going to remove main.py from my reflow master for the moment. So when it boots, like if I do a Control D, it just goes to the REPL. It doesn't keep reloading the reflow master code every single time. No, it'll probably find the new code, but not be able to find the old code anymore. Okay, so I should now be able to NPR copy to the board, import FB, green text. So green text with text aligned works. So I have a working function, and just to make sure I'm going to, that the other one still works, go here and I'll make that, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll stomp next to it. I'll make it this, I don't know, 150. So it'll draw it twice. One in green, or they'll both be in green. Frame buffer object doesn't have, underscore. Whoops. And I'll make this one blue. Import. Okay, both of them are there. They're both still working. And look at that, 110 milliseconds to draw twice as many. So the overhead there really is just the starting up. It's just the MicroPython side, right? Like I just blitted twice as much text, and the last one that I ran was 102 milliseconds. 8 more milliseconds to do another set of text. Like that is just so much faster than what I'm getting at the moment. Okay, good. So now, what do we want in this function? This is where things are going to get completely broken. I'm warning you now. Completely broken. So, because it's aligned, I don't want to give it an X. Let's just work out here what we need. So we need a Y position. This is just for like alignment this way, right? Hello, Kevin. Sorry, someone pinged me on Discord. Just 1 second. Right, okay. I thought it was related to this, and it wasn't. So I'm part of so many Discord servers now. It is insane. Like seriously, I don't understand how I get any work done ever. So I need a Y position. I need an alignment. And so the easiest way I'm going to do alignment, like it'll be a const on the MicroPython side, but it'll be like -1 will be right, 0 will be center, and 1 will be left. No, no, maybe -1 will be left. Yeah, okay. 0 will be center, and 1 will be right. Aligned. Okay, we need to also give it a color. And we also need to give it a scale. Hey Dutchmaker, how you doing? So they're the only things that we need. Oh, no. We need to give it the text. Oops. So we need to pass it the text, the Y position, and if we want it left, center, or right justified, the color and the scale. So all of the text on my boot screen for Reflow Master Pro is all using center aligned text, using the same type of thing, right? Where in MicroPython, what I'm doing is, if I go to my boot code, this is a large project, right? Just warning you all now, very large project. So, my menu. So this is my boot screen, right? So it's basically saying, I tell the screen to erase, I set the font, I set the font alignment, so in this case it's align center, I set the scale, I set the transparency. So I've got, what I do in my code to speed things up is I don't clear the screen to redraw stuff. And I also don't use rectangles to blank out stuff to redraw it, because I've got no way of working out where the rectangle would be, and that would also chop off other things. So I have the ability to say set font transparency true or false, and what that does is, it shouldn't be font transparency, it should be the other way around. True means don't make it transparent, right? And if I set it to false, anything I draw, it'll draw in black, no matter what I set the colors to. And then if I set it to true, anything I draw in color will be in color. That way I can blank out whatever was there before, update the values and redraw it. And it's much faster doing that than trying to calculate the bounds of an area or clear the screen and redraw the whole entire screen again. So that was one of the ways early on I got a lot of performance out of it. Now the thing is, I'm not going to be able to for now I'm not going to do all these separate functions. Like, I'm not going to have a set font scale and a set font and stuff in FrameBuff. Eventually I'd like to do that. I think that would be a really cool idea, but it's going to add a lot of overhead. So for now I'm going to just do it all in line. So right now I've got this print line multi, and what that does is it'll use the alignment that's already been set, the scale that's already been set, and everything else. But what I can also do in here, see, I'm passing it some text and green, and then I'm passing it something else and white in the second line. I could actually do text, green, comma. If I put this inside a list, right, I can also then do hello, comma, blue, and it'll actually parse that and draw Riffler Master Pro, hello, but green and blue, all in one thing. I don't know how I'm going to do that inside this system, because that doesn't have, like, there's no lists in C, and I don't know how lists get moved over. That's way above my pay grade at the moment. But for the moment, I just want to be able to pass a single line of text and a color, a Y position, and I believe this is a padding. Yeah, there's a padding, and I'll worry about the padding in a moment. Padding's probably a good thing to add. Because there's no X coordinate, we need to give it some padding. So this will be X padding. So what that means is, if I'm doing left aligned, I want to say left aligned, but I want the padding to be 10 from the edge, so it's not hard up against the edge of the screen. Or right aligned, it's not hard up. Okay, so it needs some padding. So we've got one. This is not necessarily the order, but 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, really? 5 and 6. So there are 6 different arguments, and they're all. I'm going to make them all required right now. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll make the scale not required. So scale will be 1 by default. Okay, so the first one coming in, arg0 is, well, that's self, but that gets passed anyway. So this is the string coming in. So the first one, argument 1. So the y0 will actually be argument 2. I'm just putting them in order just so we. Yeah, X padding will be argument 3, just so it's easier to read. Alignment will be argument 4. It's just going to be an int. 5 will be the color. Oh God, and the last optional will be scale. It's 1, but if there's an argument in 6, like if there's an extra one, then we'll make scale. So hang on, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be, I think we need an extra number here. Let me check, that's 4 to 6. Right, we need an extra number because it's of the self coming through. So I think it's actually 6 to 7. I think I could be wrong. Okay, scale. So this should allow me to pass in all of those things. Okay, now, the interesting thing is I need to work out the size of the text once it's been formatted. Now, right now, the text is monospaced, which is nice and easy, and I know the size of the text, of each character. It's going to be different if I ever add the ability to load a font at runtime, and that font is either proportional or it's a different size. Right now, it's a hard-coded fixed size. It was hard-coded to 8x8 because of the original font. It's now going to be hard-coded, just for me for now, to 6x8. So I need to firstly get the length. Hey, Gerald. Or Jerry. I need to know the int length. No, I won't call it length. I'll call it text width. Now, how do I get... Didn't anyone know how to get the... Yes, breathe is working. I fixed it. Yay. Hey, wagon loads. Okay, how do I get the length of a... length of string in C++. So I can't Can I do a myString.length? It depends on what it is. So this is not a, this is a char star, isn't it? Right, so it's not length of a string I want, it's length, and I can't even spell length of char star. It's strlen is, do I pass it the inside of that? How do I use it? Oh, I can't even spell it. Are we including string? We are, okay. That's for an array. Will that work with a char star? I'll try it. Hopefully that'll work. So how many characters times 6? Font. Character width is 6 for now. God, I can't type when I'm on a stream. It's like someone's watching me. Excellent, JB. Okay, so that's the text width, because I need to work out where to position it, right? So, this is where I'm going through and grabbing it all. This is the Y. So the X0... I need to, so I've got to say if align equals -1, which is going to be left. I hate putting the brackets up here. I always code like this, always. But all the code in MicroPython is like this, so I have to do it like this. Or it'll just, they won't let me do a PR ever. So if it's on the left, then actually I need to start with, oh, actually, does it need to be an MP int? No, this doesn't have to be. But that, yeah, okay. And I want x0 to start at equaling 0. And it needs a default, right? Then I need x0 is just going to be the width of the padding. So it'll just be the x padding. Hey Iggy, working, watching, listening. Excellent. Else if align equals so you do spaces everywhere for equals? I don't think he does. Again, it equals 0. I'm going to try my best to make this code formatting compatible. So if it's in the center, I want x0 to equal I need to divide it, but I don't know if where round lives. I don't know if it's included anywhere, but if I just pass it back as an int, I want text width divided by 2 plus. Right, I want to ignore the padding if it's center aligned, because it doesn't make any sense to center align and then pad it. If I pad it from left and right while it's center aligned, it's still going to give me the same result. So I just want it to be the center, so the half of the width, but it's not. The x will be needs to be half of the screen. So it needs to be self. I think it's self width. Is it self width? Self width. So half of the screen minus half of the text. Are you in C? This is in C, but I'm working on C code for MicroPython. So this is MicroPython. This is the actual MicroPython code. Else, so we're going to be on the right-hand side now. So we want it to be, X is going to be the width of the screen minus X padding. So I think that's right. That's going to give me my starting X position. So this should be all I need to do center text right now. No, big mistake, big mistake. This won't work with scaling. So if I say my padding's 10, I don't want my padding to be affected left and right if my scale, but my scale here has to, this is not accounting for the scale of the font. If the scale's 2, then my font width is going to be wider. So this will actually need to be times 6 times scale. If my scale is 2, then the font width is actually 12. And that's interesting. That'll be double space. That's okay. Yeah, that's right. Are you stripping leading and trailing spaces? No, I'm not for the moment, because I'm in control of what text I'm sending. I won't be sending text that has leading and trailing spaces. Third option, wouldn't it be x equals minus x padding? Yes, again, you're right. Sorry. Yep. It will be But, yeah. So interestingly, in my code, I write it backwards. I don't move it to the left and write it forwards. Because it doesn't matter in my if statement right now. I'm not writing optimized code right now. I'm just getting it all in there and see if I can get it functional. I can clean it all up later. I can optimize later. So in my library, I don't work out right justified by moving it and then drawing it to the right. I actually write it backwards. The reason I do that is my library also, in MicroPython, supports rotating text and flipping text. And to do that, the easiest way was to write the glyph backwards than to do it forwards. There are chances of invisible characters. Not in this font right now, no. It's a limited font set. It's a fixed font, limited set, only does the default ASCII characters. So yeah, for this, not a problem. Later on, if I had the ability to support multiple fonts where a user can upload their own font and I don't know what's inside the font, that's a different story. But for now, I just want to get this kind of functional. So that's the scale, and that the text width is already calculating the scale now. Yeah. Okay. So let's give this a shot, see what happens. I'm sure it'll break. Now the other thing my library can do is it can, when I do center text, I can actually tell it, is it centered? So if I say on this Y position of 100, is 100 the top of the font, is it the bottom, or is it the middle? I can align vertically as well. As I said, I poured 6+ months into writing a really, really cool library in MicroPython. Hey, Hybotics, but I want it faster. I don't need it faster for Reflow Master. I want it faster because there's some other things I want to do. I want to take the UI way more advanced than what I'm doing right now. Okay, that compiled okay. That's a good start. Let's flash it. Oh, I didn't get out again. Oh, I keep doing this. Really annoying. Because I'm doing it from 2 different screens. Okay. Flashy, flashy. It takes longer to flash than it does to compile. Thank God I've got a 10-core computer, so I can actually, when I compile it with -J20. So I'm using 10 physical cores and 10 hyper-threading cores, so 20 different cores to compile. It maxes out the whole thing. I'm surprised the streaming doesn't break. Okay, so we need to write some code. And I need to clean up this. Does your code center on half? No. What do I mean center on half characters? It centers based on the width of the string. It's what do you mean? There's, yeah, I'm not sure what that means. It's a fixed size font. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna save this as a new file. These are just tests. So frame buff 2, I just want to remove a whole bunch of stuff. Clean it up a bit. Center odd. Odd number. No, well I don't. It's not centering on characters, it's centering on the width, pixel width. It's irrelevant to the characters, that's what I'm saying. There's no odd or even characters. The characters take 107 pixels, so it's centered on 107 pixels. It's not centered on the character. The character is irrelevant. It treats it just like it's just a number. Okay, I want to keep my timer. I want that. So, I want to draw 3 lots of text. It's going to be, I want a left. Now, so what are the parameters again? I can't remember already. put them in here for now, so I know, so I can remember. Okay, so Y position. So I want this one to be at 50. Padding, I want 10 for the padding. Alignment will be -1. It's going to be green, and it's going to be 1. I'll try passing nothing for that one. I don't need that. And then I want a center. Make that one capital. White. That'll be 2, and I want that to be at, I don't know, 150. Padding in this case doesn't matter, so like I'm going to set that to 50 because it should ignore it. And then I want right, and that is going to be red. Like that's just going to be 0. Again, they'll be consts eventually. Actually, I've probably already got the consts. Should already be there. Actually, I don't know what I set them to. Right is 1. Right, that's what I did before anyway. Okay, but they're not in there. I'm just going to put them up here for the moment. Have I imported const? Nope. Python import const. Okay, number of characters times pixels divided by 2 will get the center of any string to the pixel. Correct, because I only care about pixels, because the screen is in pixels. So I should be able to now just go, just for make it nice and easier to read. Line left. So this one's going to be at I'll make that 100. And this one 150. And I'm going to make the padding on this one 25, so it should be further away from the edge. So let's see if this works or breaks, shall we? Import FB2. Whoa, so the scale. I thought that worked. Holy moly, look at that. Left, center, and right. Of course, scale 1 is tiny. And I only put a scale on the second one. So it ignored, which was great. So if I make the scale on this one now, make it 3, and make that 4. Actually, I'll make that 2, and I'll make this one 4. Do it again. Oops, wrong one. Import number 2. So that is working. Left, center, and right justified text in color. Boom. Okay, so. But as I said, this is centering it based on the top. It sets Y as the pixel. Now I could center the text as well. I could do a vertical alignment. Thanks, Agim. I could pass it 2 values. All right. See, the problem is optionals are you can't do named optionals in C from MicroPython that I'm aware of, and so I don't know how I could build a list of optionals. Like once you get to one optional at the end, they all have to be optional. I don't know how you can work out which one is for which, especially when they're all coming through, for instance, as ints. You know, I could make this come through as text, not int, and then I can say, well, if it is text, I know what it is. But, yeah, that's a lot of extra overhead sending text instead of sending an int just the way the data's packed. So, okay, so we've now got centered text with different font sizes. Now, how would we... I wanted an example of how a list is sent to... I'm trying to think of where a list would be. Matt's not around. Matt, are you here yet? Are you here? I'm just pinging him. If I could find an example of how a list is sent back to C, C++, whatever, back to the source code for MicroPython, then I could implement the multi-text coloring. That would be cool. Honestly, you shouldn't mess with height alignment, as you'll spend too much writing exceptions in order to cover all cases where it might go outside of the screen bounds. Sure. Like, right now, I'm also... Okay, he's on his way. Yay, he's got questions. Right, like, I'm not doing anything... Like, if I don't know, if I did -10, I don't even know what would happen. Like, that, I'm pretty sure that would break it. Let's find out. Like, I'm not doing any type of wrapping or testing or anything right now. And I should. And NPR sometimes just does this. It's so frustrating. I'm gonna... Nope. I'm gonna just go back into R shell. See, why is it that for some reason it locks my device up? Oh, I don't know why. Oh, hello, Matt. Are your ears burning? NPR keeps locking up on me. Just letting you know. Okay, I want to copy fb2.py. This will break. Oh no, it didn't. Look at that. It wrote it off screen. It just didn't care. You can write outside the frame buffer and it'll just ignore it and clip it. Yep. Just worked that out, Matt. Look at that. I have left, center, and right justified text in MicroPython, in frame buffer. Look, I created a new text aligned function. Text aligned. Works great for you. Well, I've been living in it the last four or 5 days straight, and every 7 or 8 times I go to do something, it locks up, and I have to restart the device to get it to wake up again. Anyway, I much prefer MP Remote. Like, it's so much faster for file transfers and all sorts of things. But yeah, it just keeps locking up. No, there's no font passing. Well, I wouldn't know how to pass a font yet, Matt. But what I want to know is, how do I pass a list? Is there an example somewhere in MicroPython of how a list gets passed to, I'm calling it C, I don't know, C++, whatever, that it gets passed to C? I want to process a list. You're on a Mac here. MP Remote probably hasn't been tested much on there. Yeah, I'm the only guinea pig, looks like. Yeah, it's a little bit... I'm going to bug report some stuff. I just haven't had time. So in my code, I've got this thing where I can pass... I'll show you. Let's go to settings. So in my display driver, if you look here, I've got this print multi-line. I can pass it a list, and the list has text, color, text, color, text, color, text, color. And then what I can do is in one line, I can write that text out where each section of the text is a different color. Not list from an array. No, MicroPython has Python has a list. Yeah, I'm talking about taking a Python primitive, which is a list, into C. Yeah, it's not an array. It's a list. So I want to do the same thing. I want to be able to pass multiple. So is there an example? plenty of examples getting a list. Oh, I'm sure there is. I just don't know where to look. Because this should be independent. Like, I should be able to... Well, that's not true. What I would need for this to work with multi is right now the string I'd probably want the color to be the second argument, because then I could ignore the second argument if the first argument coming through isn't a string but it's a list, whatever that is, right? Oh, but hang on. So if a list is coming through, it's going to only expect a list, right? There's no way... Well, it just comes through as an object, right? Can I check if the object coming through is a list as opposed to a string? Wrong bracket at the end, Hybotics. Yeah. Yeah. You can check the types. Okay, cool. Because then, okay, so I need to change the order of this. The color has to be the second thing. Because I need the other things to be in the same position. And I should have put that there. You can basically do everything you can in Python and C. It's just way more verbose and finicky. Excellent. That's what I love. Verbose and finicky. Yeah, okay, Waglows, that doesn't really pertain to anything I'm doing. Yeah, we're talking about moving stuff from MicroPython into C. Yeah. Neither of which is anything like PHP. Okay, so I need to just... color needs to be... number 2, because I don't want to have a different function for each thing. I want the function to be smart enough to know what it's supposed to be doing. So that's 3. That's 4. That's 5. And scale at the end. And now, I'm not doing different scales in one thing. It'll be the same scale. I think different scales in the same thing is just... Anyone that needs to do that needs to redesign the screen. Okay, so I'm going to have to change this before I forget. So it'll be left, green, if I can get most of my drawing redone in FrameBuff, I reckon, yeah, I can easily speed up screen draws and everything else in Reflow Master Pro by, you know, even if it's only double, that's going to be significant. Okay, while I'm waiting for Matt, who's hopefully finding me some examples of list, I'm going to just recompile this. Are you making something that imports text from MicroPython or C or vice? It's not importing text, it's drawing to the screen. The code is MicroPython. MicroPython's built in C. Like the source code for MicroPython is in C. Right now I've built a driver in MicroPython, but I want a lot of the stuff I'm doing for my graphics driver to be faster, which means I need to move it over to the C side. But then I need to be able to create functions to get my data over to C to be able to say, I want equivalent functionality, but in C. which gives me dramatically faster results. Again, I got to remember to get out. Flash. The seaside. No. What I'm doing right now is exactly how it works. Yeah. This C code you're seeing here is MicroPython. It's the source code for MicroPython. This is already solved. I just have never I've never extended the source code of MicroPython. That's all. RMT is a good one to look at, mostly because I know it well. Okay, so RMT. Where does RMT live? Oh, here we go. Okay. Ooh. NPR. Okay, see, I didn't even, like, there's a whole lot of constraints you can put on the arguments, right? That's cool. So can you pass keyword arguments? Okay, right. So one of the things before you came on, Matt, was the whole, how do I deal with optionals when I don't know which ones are being included? Like if there were two optionals that are int, how do I know which one they've done? The color one or the scale one, for instance, right? Well, pulse on 201. Object to pointer. Right, but they're not being passed in the C keyword arguments. Okay. What we need to understand with the C source code is the arguments that are coming in are not C arguments. They're MicroPython arguments. They have to go through this. It's not a wrapper. It's hard to explain. They're macros and stuff. There's a translation layer that moves stuff from MicroPython to C and stuff from C back to MicroPython, right? I'm not creating a function in C that uses keyword arguments. I'm creating a function in C that can recognize MicroPython keyword arguments. Okay, two very different things. So make new shows a complex example that uses MicroPython C stuff to pick apart argument parameters. Make new where in here in RMT, or is that something else? Make new. Oh, right, so NP is type. So I can pass it, is it the object of type tuple of type list? Right, this is what I want. That's interesting. Okay. So I actually want both of these. Right. What I'm going to do, so the way I do it in MicroPython, is my frame buff gone? Mod frame buff. See, in MicroPython, I don't pass it two values or a list. I pass it a tuple or a list of tuples. I'm going to do the same thing. So, for instance, what I want to pass it is that, where it's one argument coming in as a tuple. And then I want to pass it center white, comma, center text, text, and that's going to be blue. That's what I want to pass it. Okay, that's the way I do it in MicroPython. like in my driver. By the way, Control P opens a file. Just start typing. Control P. Yeah, no. Maybe Command P. Yeah, right. Okay. No Control P. But doesn't that just open one that's already open? That's what you meant by the FB2. Yes, sorry. I know, there's shortcuts everywhere, and I always forget them. Because then you got Command P, then you got Command Shift P, which opens up the... Yep. Too many things. Apple. There's no Apple keyboard key anymore. Jeez, how old are you, Matt? Okay, so this is what I want to support. So, again, we're going to change this. We're going to say... Okay, so object 1... So I want, wait. Data object. But how do what do I pass it in as, Matt? Or can I just do args1? Like, see, this is passing it as a string. Can I just do that? Args1? Or do I have to wrap it in something? See, Matt's going to disappear right while I'm talking to him, and I'm going to sit here like an idiot waiting for an answer. Like right now. Or do I just make it an MP object? Answer is it depends. Oh, don't be cryptic. And you need to go in a minute. Great. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to... so I'm going to make data object equal args1. Okay, and then I'm going to say if data object is a tuple or a list. Interesting, if it's not, I just want to return. I want it to do nothing for now. Can I just do that? Can I just return nothing? Like, just do a return? I hope so. See what happens. Do I have to return a 0 or something? Can you just take the rest of the day off, Matt, and stay on the stream? Thanks. See where you register the function with the macro, like with that. Yeah. Yep. Changes how the parameters are passed. Right. Yeah, I'll have to look through the rest of the code to find examples of how I'm going to enforce that. How am I going to do this, though? I need to build the string. And we have to... okay, this is going to be much harder than I thought it was going to be. Even if I can pass it... Right, so that's just saying there are two parameters coming in, self and a color, right? Okay, so that's fixed 2 items But the other one, bar between, is could be this number, it could be that number. Yeah, I already worked that bit out. So do I have to move this data into an array now? Like, is it how do am I going to deal with the data? Object get array. So if it's a list and not a tuple, if it's an int, yeah, this is, so if it's a list, it has to get put into an array. Does it behave like a sort of function overloading? Is that to mat? It changes how you parse the parameters as well. Sure. That other one that you just did, like here, that's not, like here, like, it's not using the args anymore, right? It can talk to loop directly because it knows that it's a fixed number. Yeah, yeah, I got that bit. I'm trying to work out, like, if it's a tuple and if it's a list. If it's a list, where's duration object coming from? All right, okay. So what's MP object is true? You're grabbing whatever it is and you're passing it into, you're creating, what's data is just a, but this is saying if it's, oh, if this is not, right, that doesn't help me. I wonder if it is. So this is not an example of parsing a list. This is making sure that it's not a list. Where's the part that's parsing the list? This is saying if it's not a list or a tuple. Oh, here, get array, data length, and data pointer. Okay. So does this matter if it's a list or if it's a tuple? All types are effectively typeless. They're all just objects. Right. Okay, so MP object get array. Okay, so it's going to grab whatever the data is and put the length and a pointer to it into those. But is that the same whether it's a tuple or a list? So I'm going to need to say, let's split this up. If it's a tuple, right, but if it's a list of tuples, I need to do an array of, and then each bit inside it, I need to do an array of, right? That's the bit that's else if it's a list, I want to do that. Okay, so if it's a tuple, oops, then I want to do np, I don't even know what the syntax is, so is it object? No. Oh, I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to put the data object and the data length, data pointer. But if it's a list, then I need to so I'm gonna have to store. I need something to say here. Bool is list. All right, and then is list is false, and then if it's a list, this would be a list is true. And I'm going to have to deal with the data differently, right? I still pack it the same way to start with. Okay. Are you going to provide this to upstream MicroPython when you have it finished? I'd like to, but they won't accept it. Not the way I'm doing it. That's a whole different discussion I've been having with Matt. The frame buff system hasn't been touched for a very long time, and if it's going to be updated, then certain functions have to be depreciated over some time, and any extra overhead I add is going to increase binary sizes, which is going to trigger some rejection from Damien, most likely, because they're very careful about size of binaries for a lot of constrained devices that have only a small amount of flash or RAM, which means all my stuff would have to be compile outable or build outable when building firmware. But then there'll be inconsistent which versions have it and which versions don't, right? It's really quite messy. You got to remember how many different boards MicroPython supports, you know. And ESP32 is great. 4 mega flash, megabytes of RAM if you want. There are plenty of MCUs out there that run on MicroPython that have 32K of flash or RAM, right? Or whatever the minimum is. So this will break that. This will tip it over the edge and it won't fit on their devices anymore. So it's a long story. My plan is it'd be great, yes, but it's a much more difficult thing than that. So if it's how do I then access that array? Ooh, okay. It's worked out without, okay. I don't need the return, I'm just going to raise an exception. See, just by raising this exception and me doing a custom exception, like if I say, text aligned requires a tuple or list of tuples of string, comma, color. Okay, just that text there, that's going to get compiled into a Q string, which is going to add to the size of the flash. Just by having that there, right? Every single thing I add now in source code is going to increase the build size of MicroPython. So, the more functional I make this, the bigger the binary is going to become. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So, okay, once again, how do I then use So storing the number of items separately. I should probably just do that as well. But that's what, isn't that what data length is? Or data length is the length of data. Right, I need number of. Well, I don't know that yet. I don't really know that yet. Okay. So, there's data pointer and I just pass it an index. You know, they're in turn strings, right? So if you duplicate strings, you're only paid once in the flash. Yes, I know that. That's the whole point. That's why it goes through and compiles the Q strings, right? And make sure that it turns them into tokens, into ints, basically, that get... So you only ever do one at... Yeah. If you move that to a library, will it only affect size if it's called? What do you mean by a there is no library. This is in the firmware. If you're talking about a library in MicroPython, then it's not in C, it's in MicroPython. My library's in MicroPython right now. But then I don't get the advantage of having it fast in C. Yeah, I'm working that out, Matt. I am working that out. What do you mean for the tuple? I don't understand the question, Wagon Loads. Sorry. For the tuples got nothing to do with it. Everything I'm doing right now is in the firmware. It's compiled in the firmware. There's no such thing as a library on the C side, or sorry, in the firmware side. Yeah. It's either compiled in when the firmware is built, or it's not compiled in when the firmware is built. If it's not compiled in, then it can never be accessed. And if it's compiled in, then it's always there to be accessed. Okay, so I need to then... so you'll have to create and maintain your own version of MicroPython. Well, in this case, this is for me for ReflowMaster. So it is my own version of MicroPython for my ReflowMaster. I was doing something different depending on what it was given. Right. Am I passing it a tuple or am I passing it a list of tuples? Like... There you go. Matt's answered the question. Yeah. I'm already maintaining my own version of MicroPython firmware for my ReflowMaster Pro. So yeah, that's not a problem for me. I'm just trying to work out in my head how I'm going to iterate through all this. Because I need to now... I need to create a string that's going to hold the string to be able to store it all. But I want that just to be... What do I use null pointer to start with? If it's a... How do I do an empty string? Like, can I do that? Null pointer. Yes, the tuples are coming from MicroPython. They're coming from the user code in MicroPython. Like, here is MicroPython code. This is MicroPython. There's a tuple. Oh, delay to build separate C libraries loaded at runtime, but there aren't enough. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Object T is the default type. Right, but this will be a string. Right, okay, so you're saying I can, like, I need this to be a char star eventually. Well, it can't be a const, it's going to be changing, right? Do I cast it later? So do I just, for now, go temp string equals null? Like that? I need to build the string based on all the bits coming in to know the length of the string so I can then align it. But then treat each string individually as I'm building it. Yeah, this is a big deviation. I should have done all this in a new function, or saved it somewhere first. So now I'm committed now. So the first thing I need to do is go if not is list. If it's not a list, which is all I'm going to function, I'm going to just get the tuple working. Thanks, Matt. So if it's not a list, then I just want the, it's not going to be a const though, so temp string it was data pointer 0, and the color, which I've not even initialized over here yet, so the color by default is going to be just 1, which is white. Oliver's C stub generator. Yeah, I looked at it ages ago, but it was, yeah, I don't know what I need yet in my functions, so I think a generator, yeah, I should. So then color will be, so how does this pointer, how does that, right, I'm confused. If I got a tuple with a string and an int, and I convert that to get array, what does that give me? Does that give me an array object of one element that I need to unpack, or does it give me 2 elements? Hey, Yumbo Prime. Like, is data pointer now like, what's in data pointer if I'm passing a list, a tuple through? Where's this documented, Matt? And don't say nowhere, please. Like this should then be an array of 1 if it's a tuple, a single tuple. And I need to unpack the tuple. I don't know where I'm unpacking the tuple. Because I don't know from this code if it's a tuple or a list. Because this says if it's neither a tuple or a list, do this. Else, if there's something in the duration, do this. Else, do this. Well, so obviously it doesn't matter if it's a tuple or a list, but then where's it breaking the tuple apart? Yeah, I don't know where it's breaking the tuple apart. I think Maddie's gone. He's run away. There are a couple of useful documents. Can you tell me in the RMT code where it's breaking the tuple apart, if it's a tuple? Because I can't work that out. MicroPython C yeah, I don't think this is going to help me. Source code, tuple example. What? No worries, Keen. Thanks for joining. I'm going to, yeah, I can't go much longer anyway. I've got hundreds of boards to pick and place today. That's a new 24 minutes. That's a new plate for my vacuum cleaner stencil stuff for a panel that I haven't built one yet for. Tuple. I know it's a tuple. Tuple, whatever. Cache, you know. Kill me now. Yeah, I know that, Matt, but is it a tuple or is it a list? How do I know if it's a tuple or a list? That's the problem. And that's different because they're all the same values. They're all like floats or ints in a tuple or a list. Mine's different. I've got either a tuple of a string, comma, color, or string, comma, int, or I've got a list of tuples of string, comma, int. Totally different to what RMT code is doing. That's what I'm saying. I need to pull apart. I need to know if it's a tuple or a list, not either. Specifically, because the list is lots of stuff. Yeah, I've done that already. How do I iterate through and pull the data out? If it's a list, inside the list is not... It's not... Hang on. Okay, you're not understanding what I'm saying. It's not a difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and don't worry about the error, or 1, 2, 3. That's what RMT's doing. That's not what I'm doing. RMT's saying, is the data coming in a tuple or a list? No. I have a tuple of... go away. I have a tuple of hello, comma, 1, or I have a list of tuples hello, comma, 1, comma, Fred, comma, 2. Do you understand? Right, in both cases I'll get a C array of objects. I'll get a C array of object T's. Right, so I then have to say, that's what I'm asking. So, the data I'm getting back are object T's. They're not a C specific type. Right. Thank you. So, if it's not a list, then I'm getting back... Right, then how am I getting the string part? Right, then I have to do MP. Okay, I got it. So what you're saying is I need to then do... nothing to do with Jason. Oops, I left out a thing. Right, so I should be able to do that and MP obj. How, wait, I'm going to string get string? String get string? Why is it string get string? Okay, whatever. And then I need to get the int. Right, so that should then give me the string. And the int for the color. And then I need to move that equals 0. And then text width will be because text width will be calculated differently. If I don't have scale yet. Ugh. You know what? I'm just going to move all these up. I was going to do them after, but I can't. I just realised. I'll clean all this later. This looks terrible. I know it does. So that'll give me my text width. I am still... Hey, Mike, I'm going to have to end soon, but I want to see if I can get at least tuples working. You've missed a lot. You have missed a lot. But it's okay. So for the moment, I'm going to just assume it's the tuple. I just need to put the whole thing in a big for loop. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. I don't even have to know if it's a list or not. What I basically need to do... okay. Before I do that, I want to go back. I just want to get the tuple working. So that should already give me my width, color, temp string. Everything else is up there. I think this should let me parse through a tuple. I think. We'll try it. I'll compile it. It's probably going to break. Ooh. I'm in yellow. Oh, what am I in? I don't even know what I was... Interesting. No. Okay, whatever. What is my... I've broken something. Wow, I don't know what I've done. What mode I put it in. is a comma in the string. It's a list. No, it isn't. And I can't check for the comma. I don't pass in the string. That's not what I'm getting in, Wagon Loads. Tuple, not tuple. I know, it's a tuple. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Frame buff self. Arg0. What? Whoa, what didn't I like? Lots of stuff. I think I've got an extra bracket somewhere. Of course I do. I'm sure I do. Open, close, open, close. Open. Right. An extra bracket there will help. Hey, JF. Hey, Jose. Okay. That's one error, and then what? Oh. I think I'm in Python and I'm not putting semicolons on the end. Okay, I just need that to be... Yep. As I said, I'll clean all this up later. Zoltan's user mod docs. Okay. Oh, right. I need to make you a mod. Didn't even think of that, Matt. There you go. You're a mod now. You should be able to post links. Okay. Flashing. And I need to... so I can't do this center one for the moment. I'm not processing a list right now. I'm only processing a tuple. Actually, what I want to do is what happens if the first argument is not a tuple. So the left should work and the right should break. Copy fb2.py to pyboard. Ooh, text aligned requires a tuple or list of tuples. Or the error worked. Line 34. Right, so it errored out here before it did anything. So that's good. Yay! Yes, people use that. So that's good. So copy it over again. And did not draw anything. Flashed the screen though. Didn't actually draw. So the error worked. So this worked. I'm going to get rid of this because I'm not going to need it later. Thanks, Matt. So can I, how do I do a debug output from here at this level? Do I have to include the, okay, so I can't include the ESP32 debug stuff. Do you know if there's any way I can, other than an error, like, yeah, no. So this must be broken. mp underscore printf. Ooh, really? mp underscore printf. Oh, do I have to do the whole %s? Oh. Do I have to do all this stuff? Or is it easier? Where's an example of mp printf? Oh, even worse. What's print? Where does print come from? You're in C, of course, it's not easier. Yeah. There's a reason I don't want to live in C. Like, how many times have I said it? Okay. I got rid of the is list. But, so I didn't like print. So yeah, where does print come from? Like, where does this come from? Ugh. There's another example. It needs a print platform. So where do I get this from? Ugh. You're right. Nothing's easy in C. Any idea where I get... No, this is not nice. Come on. Okay. Forget the printing. That's disgusting. So... Can I pass MP raise value error without passing a Q string? I can't, can I? Like, I just can't do that on... I'm pretty sure I can't do this. I'm pretty sure I can't do that. But we'll see. I just want to see if anything's in there. No, can't do that. Oh, it's worth a try. I know the tuple part's working because I was getting this error when it wasn't a tuple. And if I get rid of that, so I know it's going to be a tuple or it's going to error. Get object array, data object, data length, data pointer. That's my object. Data length and data pointer. And I'm using data pointer to get the value. So, which is exactly what Where'd the RMT example go? Which is what's happening here. What's this MP object is true? And maybe the issue is this string, MP object string get string. Okay, bye Matt. Thank you. Thanks for your help. Temp string is a char star. Didn't I do? Oh, right. It's an empty object. That's what I was asking about before. This needs to be a char star. Or I need to what's if I make this a char star? It can't be a null. I think it's going to be a... Obviously the C can't traverse the MP object T. But also can't convert that, so that also has to be char star. Const char equals... Yeah, but I can't declare it. Oh, okay, I can declare it there, you're right. Okay. Courier, hold on 1 second, folks. Wow, I ran all the way out there and Yuz is home. Okay, so... Const char star... and I'll get rid of it up here. I can declare it down there. Okay, this is the last thing. If I can get this working, I'm going to have to go to start pick and placing. Wow. There we go, out again. Build it. See, the first part was so easy, and now this, not so much. But if this works, then I'll put the whole thing in a loop, where it'll be a loop of 1 if it's just a tuple, and it'll be a loop of however many elements if it's a list. Okay, so So the same code should already be there. Import FB2. No, still nothing on the screen. Oh, dude, I don't have time to go through that list again. You're going to have to go back to the start of the stream, Mike. Sorry. See, I don't think what I'm getting back there is right. No, seriously, it's complicated. I did a full breakdown at the start. What I'm adding right now is a ability to print text aligned, left, centered, right, which I had working already. But it's where I was just passing the data in. I want to be able to pass a tuple, damn it, a tuple or a list of tuples of text, color, text, color, text, color, which is, I'm trying to emulate all the things that I've got in my MicroPython driver, but in frame buff. So I can get much faster text rendering. Much faster. See, I don't think this has got the right data in it. Because it's looks like it's working. It's just not iterating over anything. So I don't. I'm not convinced that what I'm getting out of here has got anything in it. Because if it doesn't, then this loop will do nothing, right? And it'll just exit. Which is what it looks like it's doing. Tulips. I should just call them tulips. It'd be easier for me to say than tuples. If this has got something in it, like if I did this, hello world, and built this should just print hello world. Well, if it doesn't, then I know that it's not this code and it's something else. Oh, whoops. Got to change that. Come on, build. Faster. I'm writing Tupperware. Wait, did I not hit enter? I didn't hit enter. I moved my mouse or something before that. Okay, if this doesn't work, I'm just calling it quits for today. I need to pick a place. Need to. It's Friday, and I gotta get to the post office. Right, that didn't print either. That didn't print anything either. Four, one. Oh, hang on. Have I got my arguments wrong? Why? Oh. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. So there's no text coming in. 0, 1. Right, that's number 2. That's number 3. That's number 4. And that's number 5. And I'm gonna just get rid of that for now. That could be why. I know I said I wasn't going to do anything else, but yeah, I'm in sunny Melbourne. It's actually sunny at the moment. It's quite nice. I bet you, I wonder if this was printing off the screen. Or like, this could have just been broken. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bet you this won't fix it. Of course it won't. And I'll fix it 5 seconds after the stream ends. You know that, right? 5 seconds after. Hey Mike, I fixed breathe. Breathe works now. Need faster flashing. Oh, here we go again. Yeah! It was just my, what do you call it? Son of a bitch! It was my arguments. God damn it! Okay. God damn it! Thanks. Oh, I thought I renumbered them, but then yeah, anyway. How's this for messy code? Okay. So, I can now, let me just, I want to be able to, I want to flash it. I want to be able to now just do left, and I want to do right in red. No padding. 5. So I want to make sure that this is all working. Center in white. 150. 4. So that's flashed. To copy fb2.py to pyboard. No, this is all QIO. DIO is only a problem with platform IO for some reason. I don't know why that is. And hey, Captain Colonel. Import FB2. Okay. It's working again. It's working. Left, right, center, coming from tuples. Oh, see, now I want to do the rest of it. Now I want to get it go. Should I keep going? You tell me. 12:28. Oh, I'm going to get my ass kicked today by myself. A map length limit for text. No, it just clips it. It's up to the user to make sure that their text works properly. It just clips left and right. Like you can see, I've got a -10 padding here for the left, and it just clips the edge off. That's up to them. Left is cut. Yes. No, it's not cut. It's because it's -10. This my padding. If I put that back, if I make that 10, then it'll be do the array of tuples. Yeah, of course you want me to do that. I want to do it as well. There you go. Now it's got a padding of 10. That was just testing that I could do that. Okay. The array of. But this is another rewrite. It's another rewrite. Because I need to build the width first of the text so I can center it. Yeah, no, this is working. I want to clean this up first and back it up and then do it. And I don't want to do that now. No, I'm just going to break everything again. And my print just finished, and that is the perfect. Let me just. Oh, I need to let it cool down. I mean, that's telling me that I need to go pick and place, because that cover there is for my Tiny Pico Micro Bees. So. Yeah, so that's my for my stencil printer vacuum thing for my I don't want to do it, pull it off now because it's warm. I don't want it to warp. Need to let it cool down a bit. And the post office won't stay open for me, and they're not open on the weekend, so I need to get to the post office and ship orders today. Yeah. So I'm going to stop. Thank you all for sticking along on this. It was pretty crazy. That was crazy. I've never done work in the MicroPython source before yesterday. Well, that's not true. Other than me trying to fix things for the IDF for like ESP32, S2, and S3, but I've never added functionality to the source code for MicroPython. And the first time I did that was yesterday, but I was hacking existing functionality. Now I'm adding new functionality. This is pretty exciting. Also pretty messy. But yeah, thank you all. And I hope you all have great weekends as well. And I was happy to share this. And I hope when I get all this working, I will maybe do another stream about it, or I'll move on to the next bit. But hopefully I'll have cleaner code than this. Yeah, kicking goals. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you all later. Bye.